It's time to talk some rookie wide receivers, and no better way to do it than pulling up the PFF draft guide, giving you a free look. Might want to hit that subscribe button since I'm handing you some for free right now. But let's take a free look at the PFF draft guide, see what they got at these wide receivers, and then talk some ball about them while we're scrolling through it. Let's go! So here it is. We're on the wide receiver portion. I did the running backs a couple days ago. That's in the archives. Take a look at that. Got a nice, hot, takey thumbnail for you. But wide receivers right here. Let's see what they got here. Number one here, Quentin Johnston. Not surprised. PFF grades, though. It's not great as a number one, but I can see that. He's got a lot of upside. He's got a lot of developmental work to do. But 76, 76, 76. Snaps in the slot 98, 35, 30. So get a little bit of both there. First 1,000-yard season was in 2022. Looking at the comps here, too often telegraphs vertical routes. Don't utilize his speed as a weapon. Gets antsy making plays in traffic. Coming down here on the advanced metrics. This is what we want to see. Comp to Martavis Bryant, which is an interesting comp here. 8 drops last year. 10.7% drop rate. Yards after the catch per reception is 8.9. Missed tackles 19. Deep catches 10. Deep yards 427. Screens 22. So means he's getting downfield on most of his routes. Yards from screens 184. Contested catches just 8 of them. Wins by being explosive. He's an X receiver. Needs to improve his physicality, which we've heard that in a lot of other places. I see a little bit on tape as well. Better on the slants. Better one-on-one situations. That makes sense. Back to advanced data. This is going to be back later, but we're going to talk about the combine a ton on this channel. Like we did last year, but more. Number 2 is Zay Flowers. Position rank number 2 here. We kind of got some different stuff already. That's PFF for you. Grades here, 75, 73, and 72. Snaps in the slots, 246, 169, 319. Again, he projects as a shifty slot receiver, but can play a little bit on the side due to that speed he's got, that burst. Well, small catch radius, not a salesman. I think I've said that in my thing. They might have stole that, actually. Has yet to master the ability to find space over the middle. I think he's a good receiver. I think he's good. I think he's also going to go in a good range in rookie drafts where you can catch some value as well. He may not be valued as the wide receiver too, but you're going to catch him late first, early, mid-ish second. Really depends on draft capital and where he goes. But I think he's going to give you bang for the buck. Missed tackles 15, average at the target 10.4, drop rates pretty low. Yards after the catch per reception 6.5. Not giving you all the advanced metrics. They got more on the site, but you got to pay up for those. I think it costs like $10 for the draft guide. I noticed on the running backs, they don't have all the running backs. I wonder if they're not going to have all the wide receivers either. Just mix it up. Wins with quickness. Movable weapon, can play inside and out. Like I said, due to that speed, explosiveness, setting up routes, selling routes. That's true, but also you can win at the college level without having to sell a lot. You can win just with explosiveness, getting downfield. And he also has tremendous ball skills for his size. Something you got to know. Did they even note that as his pros? Top end speed, knows how to avoid contact. Man, you guys get with it with his pros, dude. You got to get with it. All right, the advanced metrics coming later. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, wide receiver 3 here. PFF grade, 2022 doesn't really count. 2021, 91. The first 90 in the group. He's wide receiver 3, though. Can't really slouch on that. 645 snaps in the slot. Like I've been saying, I think he can play in the slot and outside because he's a nuanced route runner. He can win off that. And he's not a horrid athlete either. He can play on both ends. Just because he played 645 snaps in the slot doesn't mean he's stuck there. He's also was in a weird situation. You got Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. Probably just where you were slotted. I'm sure he would have been moved more outside. Lackluster top speed. We've talked about that. Largely grounded player. Limits windows over the middle. Played all over 60 snaps in 2022 with a hamstring. Like we know. We just didn't count it. They have no stats. Player comp, Julian Edelman. I think that's kind of laughable. I don't even think that's realistic. Maybe they took the day off. That's like the last player that comes to mind when it comes to Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I mean, he's not a bad player. It's just, I don't know. I would think more like Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's been thrown a lot. That's been thrown out there a lot. I think I've said it first on one of these videos. And it might have got picked up on social media because I see a lot of people saying it. I'm going to give myself the credit for the Amon-Ra St. Brown comp-ish. Kinda. I don't do comps. I don't like comps. I hate comps because they're malpractice. I like to talk about the traits, and that's about it. But you have to say comps to give a baseline for people who need that visual. But then they hold it to the comp, and it's like, well, it's not the same, bro. It's not. I don't know. My brain doesn't work like that. You can tell how I talk in circles, so you're just going to have to read me, I guess. But at least I'm going to keep it real with you. Technically savvy. We've been covering this guy since he's been in high school on this channel, and he was technical in high school. Slot. I'm not going to lie. I think he can do more than slot because he's technical. Those two kind of wash each other out. I think he can do a little bit more than that. Where can he improve? Question mark. You have question marks on that, and you have him as wide receiver 3. It's not to say there's nowhere Jason can improve, but rather than most efficient areas of his skill set, all revolve around pure physical tools. All right, maybe you should have him wide receiver 1 then, if you're going to have a question mark on that. You didn't have that on any of the running backs. You didn't have that on Bijan. Wide receiver 4 here, Jordan Addison. Look at those grades, 88 and an 81. You got him wide receiver 4. You trying to make things kind of spicy. But again, you got the size here, 175, 6 foot. I get that. I get that as being a concern a little bit of a downgrade maybe if you're more into size. Snaps in the slot, 102, 576, 424. So very diverse, of course. He's very nuanced with good speed and footwork. Not physical to his game, but he's made some baller plays at Pitt. I wonder if they were just looking at the USC games. Silent too easily on vertical. Pass drop issues. 21 drops his first 2 seasons. A lot of scheme production at USC. Yeah, but he already proved it at Pitt. I don't know. Let's keep it moving here. 2 drops. Drop rate 3.2. 3.2% drop rate. That's pretty solid. 7 yards after catch per reception. It's solid here. Deep yards 370. Screen passes 23. Everything just checks out. Route running, that is definitely where he wins. High end number 2. That's his role. I want more talk on his ball skills. We saw that Pitt. We saw that a little bit. He bailed out Kenny Pickett. He got Kenny Pickett drafted in the first round. Let's be real here. Play strength. Play a little bit more strong at the catch point. You know what? You know what I'm going to say about that? You win in different ways. I'm not saying he's a perfect prospect. He's a completely different receiver when given a free release compared to coming off press, pretty much. I get it. Press at his size of 175 is going to be kind of weird, but we'll see what happens. 81, 82, Josh Downs. Josh Downs is a guy I'm on to. A lot of people are on to. Good market share metrics. Good metrics overall throughout his career. You got to like that about Josh Downs. Very productive. Tape checks out. He's very nuanced. 5'10", 175. We'll see at the combine. Sometimes these guys are a little thicker. But again, good numbers. Snaps in the slot. Seems okay. What's his cons? I look more at the cons because we all know the good stuff. Limited catch radius. Makes sense. He's 5'10". Top end speed is average. Yeah, that makes sense. But not a death knell. Not the guy you want lead blocking or screen. That doesn't matter for me in fantasy that much. Drops 3. Drop rate 3%. Yards after catch per reception 4. Not an issue, but it's on the lower end. 420th ranked. Missed tackles 4th. Force just 7. Average at the target 8.8. This is all from this year. 11 deep catches. 274 yards are from deep throws. That's on 11 catches, though. 18 screen passes, so that lets you know he's very diverse. A little bit, maybe a little bit more deep balls would be cooler. It's 85 screen yards, nothing huge here. Footwork, good route runner. You could tell. Slot roll, yeah, he could be a slot plus, I think. I think he can do a little bit more because he's nuanced. He can do a little bit outside, but mainly in the slot. I could see that due to his size, but that doesn't mean bad things for fantasy either. You can't improve size that much. I mean, what are you going to do? Bulk up to 220, 210? That ain't going to happen. And you are what you are with your body type, your play style, and you just fit in that role. Nathaniel Dell. This dude's a nuanced player, and he's quick, he's fast. 165, 5'10", weighed in that range at the Senior Bowl. Balled out the Senior Bowl, showed ball skills and all that stuff. Good production, good PFF grades here. That's what I like to see. 2,000-yard seasons. Cons here. Tiny for the position. Bad habit of exaggerating his release. Dropped a lot of easy passes. I saw something from Matt Waldman on him clapping some catches together. You see that too. Again, what about that is maybe positioning or him knowing that he's got to get in a certain position due to his size limitations or whatnot. At the end of the day, the end game is what matters. You can say two different things on that. Darnell Mooney as a comp. Darnell Mooney may be a little bigger though. Darnell Mooney though stretches field well. Good speed. Drops 10. Drop rate 8.3. Missed tackles 19. Deep ball catches 12. 366 deep yards. Where he wins, suddenness. I mean, at that size, you are sudden. We saw it at the Senior Bowl. We see it on tape. And he is also nuanced. He is a very good wide receiver. Movable weapon, because that speed you can go on the outside with. You can, and you can be a slot. You're more like a slot plus. You either got to win with very crisp route running, perfection when you're below 200, below 180, or you got to have good speed, good suddenness on top of ball skills. Route running, efficiency, more on the sell, more on stuff like that. He's got good footwork. He's got good suddenness. I get what they're getting at there. Going down here, Parker Washington at 7. He was a riser in my rankings video the last few days. At 7, you know what? The breakout metrics, the market share metrics, they glow a little bit. And the fact that he's sharing the field with Jahan Dotson early on, that kind of shows some stuff. He's a big slot, 5'10", 215. You got a thick slot here. Sometimes the thick slot can do some things for you. It's something you want to look at. You also want to look where he goes in the draft. Good PFF grade at 81, and a 76 in year 3. And decent numbers overall. Not banger numbers, nothing crazy. But Penn State, low volume passing, offense, shared the field some. Still was able to hold a good market share there. Let's see the cons. Still develops a route runner as a route runner. Yeah, I think I mentioned that. I haven't did a full video on him. I got to get one out. Okay, athlete. Barely featured in Penn State's offense. I mean, it was an average offense at that. They're really transitioning with those stud running backs with Nicholas Singleton and company. But honestly, he did what he could. And he's not really like a top-tier stud or anything, but he's a good wide receiver. Advanced metrics here. Missed tackles, 15. Average at target, 10.3, which is solid for a thick boy. Slots, deep yards, 131. Comp to Mario Rogers, which is interesting because he's also a thick boy slot. Thick boy slot makes sense. He wins with yak. Thick boys run through faces. Complementary number 2, number 3. That makes sense. You know, he can add to his route tree. He can be more nuanced. I saw that on tape as well. Jalen Hyatt as 8. A little lower compared to some people. Like I said, he's a scary prospect. He needs to develop more. Where he's going to win in fantasy, if he wins, is with air yards and deep balls. And that may make him more of a volatile play. If he is productive, that may be something you don't like. But you have to know how to play a player like that as well. And you have to know how to chase the target share, the air yards, and all that. Probably more of a DFS best ball guy. It's probably best for that. But we'll have to see where he goes. 733 snaps, 624 of those in the slots in 2022. PFF grade 77 on his best year. Let's see, 1 season of production. That's it. 18.9 yards per catch. 15 touchdowns. Lacks creativity. Role was comical for projecting to NFL. Stopping speed doesn't match starting speed. Another thing you want to say, straight line speed. Straight line speed may be better for NFL than fantasy. He's going to have to earn those targets. He's going to have to develop some for sure. Air yards is where he's going to win you at in fantasy production. Comp is Johnny Knox. Remember playing fantasy with him back in the day. I'm not bragging about that. It's hard to go back and get visuals on players that far back. Average depth of target, 13.6. Deep ball guy, 633 yards on deep ball. Screens, 162. Deep ball guys are going to deep ball. That's all I got to say. Vertical tree is where he wins. Vertical threat is his role. Defeating press. Where does he got him weighed out here? 180. We got some thin receivers. Wide receivers are getting thinner every year, it seems like. Defeating press and getting downfield. Makes sense. Needs to be more nuanced on everything, really. Going here, Rashee Rice. I don't like this guy. 6'2", 203. G5 wide receiver. Projected to go in the third round. 85 PFF grade. Again, against G5 competition. And he's an older guy. He's an older wide receiver. And older wide receiver from a G5 school and a weak wide receiver class, ranked 9 from a website just trying to pump him up. That's what I'm trying to say here. Lacks long speed, lacks opposing corners, no stranger, lacks opposing corners get their hands all over him. So you're 203 at 6'2", your hands get in your basket, no stranger to half-hearted routes. What do you want from that? Why would you want that? I get the highlights. I watched them on tape. He does make some big plays, but you want consistency. And if you're going to be touted at a G5 school like this, and you're going to be old as shit, you can't half-heart your routes. You can't have G5 cornerbacks getting in your basket, and then you don't have the long speed. I get it. You got the highlight reel. But why do you want him? Why do you want him? He's comped to Adam Thielen. I don't even want to read this anymore. Deep catches 18. Missed tackles forced 19. Average dead target 11.2. Comp to Adam Thielen. I think I already said that. Possession receiver, ball skills. Yeah, I get it. Release package. Release package. Not nuanced. Come on. Cedric Tillman, older wide receiver. Production is lacking. Got 1,000 yards in 2021. Injuries. Older. 6'3", 215. They really should have their age in here. The age matters. And they should have that in here. I don't understand why they can't do market share statistics, since that's been a big number for a lot of stat analysis. Like, I don't know why that can't be in there, especially, at least for wide receivers, just basic market share numbers. You can do market share of just damn near everything and get some outcomes out of that. Lacks suddenness, overly reliant on bully ball, throttling down in multiple steps. Kind of saw that. I'm not wowed by him. I could see why some people like him, but I'm not wowed by him. 2.9 yards after the catch per reception, 14.4. Average depth of target. So you got two wide receivers here. You need to look at Brew McCoy, but this says something about Hendon Hooker. Tosses it downfield a bit. Tosses it down. Looks to send it downfield. You can say one thing or another. Comp to Bryan Edwards. You can't say that with production profile. I don't think anyone really comps to him production profile. He's got a weird production profile. Size-wise. Relying on bully ball, from what they said, that makes sense. 6'3", 215, bigger wide receiver. I get where they're getting at. Catch radius with a vertical route tree. Bigger wide receiver gets vertical. That makes sense. How are you going to be that big and can't defeat press coverage? That makes sense. Being more nuanced makes sense. That all makes sense. Let's see here. Getting down here, and that's it. So we're on wide receiver 10. So they just went straight wide receiver 1 through 10 on us. That's their top 10. We have more wide receivers on the board. Let me know what you think about this look at the PFF draft guide. Let me know if you like this or not. I'll go through the quarterbacks and tight ends with you as well. I probably will anyways, but I want to hear about it below in the comment section. If you want me to do so, I will do it. I'm all about pleasing the crowd here. But I want to thank you for watching. You better smash that subscribe button on the way out. It's only going to help you going forward, get ready for the NFL draft, help your dynasty teams, help you out with your rookie drafts, everything else. I want to thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.